This is Alex Yu and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. Today we're gonna review a movie. Last weekend I watched the new Apatow produced movie, Get 'Em to the Greek. The movie was absolutely hilarious! It was absolutely hilarious, but it wasn't without problems. First of all, I love all Judd Apatow productions, but I haven't seen Funny People yet, and I couldn't sit through more than half hour of Dewey Cox, the Walk Hard story. I mean, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Everything else that he produced, I thoroughly enjoyed. I really thought that Judd Apatow has brought us a whole new level of comedy with this brand of humor and recurring talent from the likes of Jonah Hill, Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, Jay Baruchel, and of course Seth Rogen, to name a few. Apatow Productions first started off with a bunch of Will Ferrell movies, but then after 40-Year-Old Virgin, he really took comedies to a whole new level by mixing vulgar humor with normal everyday relatable situations, witty dialogue, and even a little bit of geeky talk. Okay, in Get 'Em to the Greek, Judd Apatow reunites himself with director Nicholas Stoller, whom he worked with on Forgetting Sarah Marshall, with cast members Jonah Hill and Russell Brand. Russell Brand plays Aldous Snow, who is actually a character that Jason Segel wrote in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. So that same character appears in Get 'Em to the Greek. And Jonah Hill plays Aaron, who's a big Aldous Snow fan whose main task in the entire movie is to get Aldous Snow to perform at the Greek theater. And he only has 3 days to do it. Obviously, a lot of crazy shit happens, which are ultimately obstacles that prevent Aaron from getting Aldous Snow to the Greek theater. I want to say that I was very entertained by this movie and I busted out laughing in a lot of scenes. But it still felt a little long at some moments. Although this movie has the Apatow brand of vulgar humor that makes you bust the gut in tears laughing, it felt that those moments were not as frequent as they were in a lot of other movies he's done. One of the biggest problems is that Jonah Hill and Russell Brand, I find, do not have really good chemistry together. In fact, they're a little bit awkward. They don't really feed off each other's lines. In Superbad, Jonah Hill and Michael Cera was a really good pairing. I think it's just that every time we see guys like Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, Seth Rogen, and Jonah Hill together, they're constantly feeding off each other's lines and trying to one-up each other in the crudeness and insults. And every time they pwn each other, the audience gets a better laugh each time. Unfortunately for Jonah Hill and Russell Brand is the vulgar character and Jonah Hill is the passive one. And there really isn't much of that back and forth banter like the other guys have, or even a duo like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith have in Bad Boys. Casting these two together would have felt like one hell of a time when you're watching them perform on screen together. But maybe I'm just being a little harsh, because I'm used to that type of thing when I watch other of these types of movies. Okay, fine, we're gonna give Jonah the benefit of the doubt, just because that's the way his character was written. But I guess it just didn't work for me that much. I guess I'm just too used to seeing him as that vulgar, screaming fat kid in Superbad, and that's actually how he got famous. Another thing that I found lacking was the sense of location. When a movie takes place in a location as exotic as Las Vegas, the location ends up playing a character in the movie. It's just like Lost in Translation, in which Tokyo was a character in the movie. You can't have that movie without Tokyo. Or Fargo, the Coen brothers film. Minnesota is very much a character in the film. So when I saw the trailer for Get 'Em to the Greek, we are shown lots of footage of Las Vegas. Unfortunately, Las Vegas basically consists of a few moments, and most of the action is summarized in this musical collage that lasts very short, and that's pretty much all you see of Las Vegas. Do you remember Rush Hour 2? I wanted Chris Tucker to spend more time in Hong Kong as the fish out of water. Those scenes were absolutely hilarious. Unfortunately, all the Hong Kong scenes only lasted the first act of the movie. Speaking of scenes, another thing that really didn't work for me was the addition of scenes which included Aldous Snow's father. I felt they were very awkward and unnecessary and don't really contribute much to the story. If they cut it out completely, the story would have been fine without it and nobody would have felt that the movie's missing something. The movie's running time is 1 hour and 45 minutes, but it felt long because of scenes like this. Thankfully, the movie has a very strong redeeming factor, and that is in the form of a character named Sergio Roma, played by P. Diddy. P. Diddy is awesome in this movie, and most of the time he is funny when he's acting serious. You would have thought that casting Jonah Hill and Russell Brand together on the same movie would be a brilliant comedic duo. But P. Diddy really steals the show, and even though he is a supporting character in only half of the film, it is really his movie, because in every scene that he is in, he really shines, and you bust out laughing every time he's on screen. All of his scenes are the best. Anyways, I found Get Him to the Greek funny and very entertaining, but not as funny as Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I give it a 7 out of 10. I was laughing as I was leaving the theater, but half an hour later, most of those funny moments were forgotten. Rotten Tomatoes gives Get Him to the Greek 75%. Would I pay full price for it? Sure, why not? Go for it. On a Friday night out with the guys, nothing beats a decent comedy with some vulgar humor. This concludes my review of Get Him to the Greek. This is Alex Yu. Thanks for watching the Ragin Ronin review. Peace. Peace.